Hi, welcome to another instructional video. Today we're going to show you how to assemble your TRIGA Go modular display system. Whether you have a 3-foot TRIGA Go wall or a 20-foot TRIGA Go U-Booth, we will go through the step-by-step process on how to assemble the frames as well as attach the graphics. So first things first, you're going to start by removing all the components from your carry case, regardless of however many carry cases you may have. Start removing those pieces and we'll begin assembling the frame. So let's start small and put together a 3-foot frame. Let's start by attaching the foot to the bottom pole. You'll notice throughout the hardware is conveniently labeled to direct you in order to assemble your frame. Simply line up the cutout crosshair mold on the bottom pole to the cutout crosshair on the foot and lock into place by twisting the foot. So now the foot is secured to the bottom pole and you can rest it on your clean flat surface floor. Repeat this process for the second pole. One thing to note, specific only to the 3-foot TRIGA Go wall. 2 toes of the feet should be facing towards one another that will be underneath the bottom crossbar. This will create for stability for a 3-foot TRIGA Go wall. The larger sizes, you can position the bottom poles as such where a toe is facing effectively the back side of your frame to make for less visibility of the feet on the front of your display. But for the 3-foot TRIGA Go wall, you're gonna need to position them like so, again with these toes facing each other underneath your frame for that extra stability. We can now go ahead and install that bottom crossbar. There is a tab on the end of the bottom crossbar that fits into the interior channel on your poles. They simply slide in like so. And now you move the green locking mechanism over to lock into place. And now that we have the bottom portion of your frame set up, let's go ahead and install the top poles. Now the poles themselves connect together as such. Simply line up the notch of the top pole to the hole on the bottom pole and twist the fastener tight to secure into place. You can now install your top crossbar, and I've found it easiest to simply move your frame and tip it down slightly to access the top poles, and you can insert your top crossbar that way. So simply line up this notched tab at the end of your crossbar to the interior channel on the top portion of your top pole, and it slides into place. Repeat for the other side. One thing to note about the top portion of these TRIGA Go frames is that the top knob here, in which the crossbar attaches to, is a tension release knob. That is used to make sure the graphic is nice and taut. So before you install the graphic, you want to make sure it's in its recessed position as shown here. But then when your graphic is attached, you're going to want to press down and release that tension to make your graphic nice and taut. Once you have your top crossbar installed, you can go ahead and tip the frame up, and it's now time to attach the braces. So to attach these braces to your frame, make sure the green locks are parallel to the posable tabs here, and line up the posable tabs with the interior channel on your frame. Position it as such, and now you're going to twist the lock and snap into place. So here we have one 3-foot TRIGA Go wall frame. Now if you have a 6-foot, 10-foot, or 20-foot TRIGA Go wall, it is really easy to simply extend this frame out to reach those lengths. The channels that lie within the poles of the frame make it that much more easy to add top and bottom crossbars to extend the length of a TRIGA Go wall. Now for these larger TRIGA Go walls, to install the top crossbars, I recommend employing the use of a ladder. So as you can see, it is just that simple to extend the length of your TRIGA Go wall. You can add one more set of crossbars and an end pole and foot, and this can become a 10-foot wall. You can double that and create a 20-foot wall. And with the brilliant design of the channels on the end poles here on all 4 sides, you can even make corners, which comes into play when you set up your TRIGA U-Booth. You can effectively set up your 6-foot wall to be a corner setup, or you can turn one corner on a 10-foot wall and make an L shape in your TRIGA Go configuration. So as you can see around me, we have the 10-foot TRIGA Go U-Booth. The making of a corner in a TRIGA Go wall applies the exact same way when setting up your U-Booths. One thing to note about the U-Booth, however, is the differences in the feet on the ends of your setup. The corner foot has a smaller toe at the back, effectively having 2 bigger toe at the actual 90-degree turn to create more stability, and the foot parallel across from the corner foot has 3 small toes, effectively providing low visibility amongst your TRIGA Go U-Booth display. So as you can see, I'm on a ladder. These are quite tall displays, so if you need to utilize a ladder in order to install your graphic, go right ahead. Now for the single-sided TRIGA graphic installation, as well as the U-Booth TRIGAs, you're gonna know what your art looks like. You're gonna know where the center of your art should be as it pertains to the frame. Start installing your graphic in the center and work your way on the outside and around the back. You fold that edge into the channel like so, and as you go along, it gets easier and it can stop right before you make that turn. Go ahead and start doing the bottom now as well. And now it might be easiest, instead of moving the ladder around, you can just simply slide the display over. So then you can make that turn into the back channel. Once it's all installed and ready to go, you're gonna then return to the top crossbar and press down to do that tension release on the edge poles of your crossbar. So then it'll make your graphic nice and taut. For double-sided graphic installation on your TRIGA Go wall, you're gonna start installing the graphic on the back side channel. So as it pertains to this video, this right here will be the back side of this particular setup. So you just fold edge of the graphic at the very start of that backside channel, and you're gonna work your way from left to right and make that first wraparound to then the front. Make that first turn. Now you'll make your second turn back around to the back, and you just overlap the graphic installation onto the back side of your graphic. Now that your graphic is secured to the frame, go ahead and push down on the tension release top crossbar. This will then make the graphic nice and taut on the frame. If you do not have a ladder readily available, or you're not able to use a ladder, here's how you can attach your graphics to 3, 6, and 10-foot TRIGA walls. Simply tip the frame down and place the edge of the graphics in the channels of each crossbar. Graphic attachment for a 3-foot wall can be accomplished with one person. However, if 2 people are assembling, one person can hold the frame while the other installs the graphic. You can tip the frame back up to attach the graphic to the bottom, but be sure to press down on the top poles to release the tension mechanism. Same applies for the 6 and 10-foot frames. You may need to add another person to accomplish graphic installation. Now when you apply the graphic to your TRIGA Go U-Booth, or let's say a corner setup of a TRIGA Go wall, you're obviously going to come across the corner portion of the frame. The plastic end on your graphic is very bendable, and you just sort of bend it into place and make sure you fit it in that channel and wrap it around to your backside. Quick note about the graphic in regards to a corner setup of a TRIGA Go wall. So not a U-Booth, a TRIGA Go wall in which you are applying a corner to your setup configuration. The graphic needs to be double-sided in order to cover up the exposed back of the frame that will be on display in your booth. Installing the graphic around the back end of the corner is just like wrapping the graphic around an end pole of a straight TRIGA Go wall. You just simply make that turn, wrap it around, and fit the edge into the channel. And with that, you repeat this exact same process, but just on the bottom crossbar, and if you have a U-booth, on the second corner. Now, as you can see, the graphic of a U-booth provides coverage around the end frames that stick out from the back wall. Now, if you want to install accessories to your TRIGA Go configuration, the accessory poles extend away from the TRIGA Go frames. So the first step to installing your accessory poles is by replacing 2 of the feet on your TRIGA Go frame, whether it's a wall or a U-booth as shown here. The accessory poles extend away from the back wall of your TRIGA Go configuration. So you simply replace the feet with the extender foot. So simply lift up on your TRIGA Go wall to release that foot and lock in the new extender foot. Now that you've attached the extender feet, go ahead and install the bottom portion of the accessory pole. Now you can go ahead and install the top pole. You can now go ahead and install the top extender connector piece. Imagine if this is the top of your TRIGA Go frame, right? We have the top crossbar here. Your graphic would be installed on either side of these outer channels. You're gonna make sure this extender piece, that the lips here are facing upwards and that the initial locking tab is parallel to the inner channel. And you're just gonna line that up with the inner channel here, twist down the locking tab, and press in place to securely lock the extender to the top crossbar. Now, as to secure the extender piece to the accessory pole, you're gonna remove the green nut on top of the accessory pole, line up the hole on the extender piece to the hole on top of the accessory pole, replace the nut, and it just screws into place like so. And now the top portion of your accessory pole has been installed. And with the accessory poles in place, you can now attach the accessories themselves. And now these accessories attach all the same by utilizing that interior channel on the accessory pole and the locking tab. As you can see, we're installing the Waterfall accessory attachment. Note that the Waterfall accessory can only be attached on the right side of the accessory poles. Now for the shelf, you can see I already have one support bar installed here, but go ahead and make sure that lip is facing towards the ground. Make sure your locking tab is parallel to that interior channel. Line it up, twist, and press into place. And then simply line up the lip on the bottom of the shelf to the support bar like so, and secure into place. And finally, the monitor mount, again, attaches the exact same way as previous accessories. You line up the locking tabs on the ends of the mount here to the interior channel of your accessory poles, twist and press down to lock into place.
To attach the mounting brackets to the back of your monitor, make sure the lips on the bracket are facing down towards the bottom of the monitor. Line up the holes on the bracket to the screw holes on the back of your monitor and set it to your desired height. Take the provided screw and start screwing into place. With the brackets attached, you can now go ahead and hang your monitor on the TV mount accessory.
We're going to show you how to set up your TRIGA Go counter. It is a tool-free, very simple process, so let's get started. So first things first, we're going to lay out the components on a clean flat surface, and we're going to start by building from the ground up. So we're going to lay out the bottom crossbars, and we're going to align those into the channels on the side poles here. Put the smaller ones in. Now that we have the bottom crossbars in the channels of the poles, Let's go ahead and make sure we lock these bottom crossbars into place. We can now go ahead and install the bottom support braces. Line up the tabs with the channel of the poles, move the locking tab, and secure into place. The top crossbars install just the same as if you were installing them on a TRIGA Go wall. And make sure the tension release top bars are recessed in before you put the graphic on. At this point, we're going to install the braces that will then support your shelf. Go ahead and rest the shelf on the support braces. So to start installing your graphic on your TRIGA Go counter, you're going to start on the top. Now, much like a single-sided TRIGA Go wall, the graphic will wrap around and have 6 or so inches on the back here. That will leave an opening for you to access your inner shelf. You should know what the front and center of your artwork should be, and make sure you have that lined up and positioned so that can be displayed as you see fit. And you're just gonna start folding in that edge into the top channel like so. Make that wrap. Fold it in. And just kind of work your way around the top of the counter. And do the same thing on the bottom. Just work your way around the frame. So with your graphic securely wrapped around the entirety of the frame, go ahead and press down on the top of the tension release poles to make your graphic nice and taut. And then you're going to move that green tab to the locked position on all 4 poles so that your countertop can support necessary weight. And last but not least, you can install your countertop. We'll show you from the backside view here so you can get a better look, but simply line up the raised corner pieces on the bottom of the countertop on the interior of your frame. And there you have it. It's just that simple to set up your TRIGA Go counter. Today we're going to show you how to set up your prime LED light display. It's a very simple process, so let's get started. Now this light could be mounted on a variety of floor displays, but it is perfect for the Journey SEG display, so that's what we're going to use today. Go ahead and line up the bracket at the end of the light onto the desired location of the top of your display and start screwing into place by twisting the wrench at the back of the bracket. Go ahead and plug in your power source and then plug your power source into the light. And it's just that easy to set up your prime LED light display.